Hey guys, if you still like us after listening to this podcast, do us a favor. If you get a chance, it'd be great if we could get
one of... Oh man, you want me to take this one?
Yeah, I don't know how to talk.
I can do this. Tyler's indisposed right now, but if you happen to like the show, go ahead and leave us a review on iTunes and maybe tell a friend, because we're a pretty new show, and that helps us. That helps little dudes like us make it in this big old world. So yeah, thank you again for listening, and have a good day, night.
Okay, so I haven't... Okay. This is a nightmare I may not be ready to live through.
I started getting crushes on boys.
Real embarrassed about this.
My mouth gets the best of me pretty much all the time.
Okay, I'm just like, how do... Okay. All right.
There we go. Hey guys, welcome back to We Still Like You Season 2. Thanks again so much for coming back with us for our second season. If you thought the last one was crazy, we're back. We're bigger than ever. We're weekly now. We're a weekly podcast, so you can ingest shame on a weekly basis from us and our friends from all around the country. Buckle up. It's going to be a real fun time. If you're new to the show, this podcast is called We Still Like You. It's select recordings from our live storytelling show in Chicago. It's a show all about shame.
So I never officially graduated from college because I refused to pay a $5 library fine.
This week's theme is Friends. We're talking about friends, and there's no better way to jump into this than introduce our new friend. We've got a new producer on the show. Give it up at home or on the train or wherever for Shannon Noll, everybody.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Shannon, what would you say makes you qualified to be one of the garbage people that runs this show?
I try to be good, but I tend to mess up daily. Super horny today and ended up masturbating for most of the day. And then, yeah, what's up? A drunk, pregnant lesbian hit on me, and I seriously considered sleeping with her, but I ended the conversation of flirting with her by saying, "You're going to be a wonderful mother."
What's happened? Give me one.
Today?
Yeah, what have you done today?
I took a wig out of someone's basket at the thrift shop.
You're a wig thief?
Yeah, I'm a wig. It was an awesome wig, and then I didn't even end up buying it. I just took it and walk away, and then put it somewhere else. Yeah, it was like an old lady wig in this creepy braid.
What if that wig you took? What if the person was like just getting into witness protection?
I stole their wig.
She's like, oh, I'll finally get away from the mafia now as soon as I can get this wig on my head.
Nothing looks more natural than this old lady braid wig. Yeah. Who would guess that Grandma Oates would come after?
Oates.
If I were in witness protection, I would be Grandma
That's
Oates.
just how witness protection works. They're just like, all right, we're going to need a family relation and a food, and that's your new identity. You're Uncle Cabbage now.
You're Papa Mayonnaise.
Papa Mayonnaise. Just sounds like the greasiest man. We've got a few great stories lined up for you guys today, and the first one comes from a good friend of ours, Andy Sell. But yeah, he probably wishes he were in witness protection after this next story.
6th grade, right? Yeah, 6th grade. I'm 11. I was coming to class, and I told my friend, I'll call him Zeke. Sure. I, in passing, made a joke about how we should take over the school and hold hostages as a joke. Let me tell you a quick little side about Zeke. He took it seriously, went and got blueprints from the office, came to my house the next night with a fucking graph paper laid out with the blueprints that he had made. He had made these. He had taken the blueprints from the school and transcribed them onto graph paper and then color-coded rooms for where we were going to keep weapons, where we were going to keep hostages, and what were the best points of entry, and where to fortify a bottleneck, in case the authorities got involved. He showed me this, and I said, I was kidding. And he said, well, I'm already talking to, we'll call him Steve. I'm already talking to Steve's brother about getting guns. So you're in it now. And I said, no, I'm not. And he said, if you try to stop me, you're my enemy. So I went to the office the next day, and I sold that motherfucker out, because, no way, dude. They called him in for a meeting, and he denied the entire thing, and then they yelled at me, and then they said, hey, if you are gonna do it though, don't. And that was it. That was the whole thing. That's all that happened to him. So years later, I went back to Iowa again, and I saw him at a Perkins. He had like Eminem dyed blonde hair and a wallet chain, and met his wife there.
Whoa!
Yeah, somebody married him, and she is gorgeous. She's gorgeous and nice, and
Iowa.
And is with this guy who almost killed an entire school.
That was Andy Sell. He is our new producer out in LA.
Who also we're super pleased to announce is going to be running the LA chapter of our show. If you live in LA and you're like, hey, I wish I could go to that cool show in Chicago, don't fucking worry, man. You're taken care of. He's going to do a great job out there. He's just a boy full of shame and love.
So Dan, I gotta ask you, why did you ask me to do this show?
Oh man.
I feel like getting asked to do this is maybe not a great judgment on my character, being asked to do this show.
We just sit in a room, we're like, who looks like they might steal a wig?
Who's got sticky wig fingers?
Sticky wig fingers sounds like a great punk band. Our next story comes from someone who's housed our show before, which is no small task at all. It's we're a bunch of garbage monsters. And she has a great story about trying to make new friends and having just everything conspiring against you.
Please welcome one of my favorites, Colleen Patterson.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to tell a story about how I had the chance to befriend the coolest kids at my high school, and I totally blew it in a single day. Just to give you a little background, it was my senior year, obviously, pressure's on. I'd never hung out with them, and there's a snow day, and it's the first snow day in like 5 years. It never snows where I'm from in Virginia. And this, like, the whole school was a buzz because we were supposed to get predicted upwards of like 6 inches. So everyone had been planning like weeks in advance. And I'd kind of been, because I sat at their table, they'd been making plans, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm a part of this, because I'm overhearing it all. And I was, because this girl, Rachel Sapansky, texted me, and she was like, dude, dress up, we're going to a golf course to sled. And I was like, what? I only had like 10 minutes, so I'm like rummaging through my house to find snow-appropriate apparel, which I did not have. I remember yelling at my parents in the garage, just like, I need shoes! And I found these boots that were my dad's, and they were just dusty, like they hadn't been worn in decades, and too small, and I put them on anyway. And then Rachel pulls up in her Jeep Cherokee, because that was the car to have. And I sit in the back, and it's pretty nice. It feels friendly. She's like, oh, you can just move my swim bag over to make room for your legs. Because that's how the popular kids talk to my school. And I was like, great, cool. So I remember bending down distinctly and like moving the swim stuff over, and just the stench like hit me in the face. And I was like, what is in this bag? Dead cats and burnt popcorn? So I like pushed it over, and I didn't want to bring it up because I wasn't really their friend. I couldn't be like, yeah, Rachel, you stink, what? So I didn't say anything, but for the whole ride to this gated community where the golf course was, I was just suffocating, and I was just breathing out of my mouth, and hoping that the music like masked that sound. In the back of her Jeep Cherokee alone with the smell. She was like chatting up front with her other closer friend. And then after I got out of the car, it was like home free. It was like the last day of Groundhog Day over and over and over again. We were just frolicking in the snow for hours. I was making them laugh. I was sledding. We found a frozen lake. It was amazing. For like 4 hours, we were just having a blast. And then we went to Adam O'Mara's house. And that's when things took a turn for the worse. had an amazing day. There was a rock in my boot, but whatever. Like, I'm not gonna let a blister bring me down. So we go to Adam O'Mara's house. His mom is ready in the garage. She makes us strip down. That's not why she made us take off like our like just the layers, like the top layers on everything. And she put everything in the dryer for us and made us hot cocoa and turned on the fireplace, and we were just hanging out like they had been friends for ages, but I felt like I belonged until Miss O'Mara went to take our clothes out of the dryer and screamed. And we were like, what? What's that? There was something in her hand that we couldn't see yet. And in her other hand, she was holding the liner of one of my boots, and she was like, whose boot is this? And I was like, it's my boot. And she was like, there is a mouse in your boot. There's a mouse in your boot. And she unfurled her hand, and she was holding a dead mouse. And Rachel Stepanski turned to me and she was like, how did you not know? And I said, I thought it was a rock. And I do think, in my defense, that the dryer had like fluffed it up. Because it was a lot bigger than it had been, like curled up and frozen at my toes. I was so mad at Rachel Stepanski. I just wanted to like run to her Jeep and like grab her swim bag and be like, I'm not the only person with hygiene issues. But then I realized that the smell was just like me stooping over and being closer to my boot. Because like we were cranking the heat in that Jeep Cherokee. There was blood on my sock. Not the mouse's blood. It was because it kept like hitting my foot every time I had fun with my new friends.
Colleen Patterson, everyone. Keep it going for her. That was awesome.
Our next story comes to you from one of our very own producers. We love her to death. She's moving back to Chicago soon. We could not be more excited. You guys, Danii Gallegos is back again to tell us a story about what happens when you miss your friends just a little bit too much.
I work at a catering company for events, so I was catering an event, and the event was for these like fancy people who were like, it was like a benefit for this charity that does things to help AIDS or something. And the two people that created this charity were up at the podium, and they were like, wow, it's so wonderful to be here. This is so lovely. Like, I'm so glad. But then they said something as I was carrying like a 20-pound of like full of plates and stuff. They said, we started this charity together 25 years ago, and we've been best friends our whole lives, but tonight's the first time we're seeing each other in 20 years. And I just started crying like crazy, because I was like, you can be best friends with people and not see them for 20 years? Like, that's what my brain did. And then I couldn't stop crying, and then I had to leave early. No, I know, it's crazy. I'm such a dork. I care a lot about friendship, and I think I just thought about like not seeing my friends in Chicago, and I was like, oh, no. And then I turned into this. I ruined a wedding? It was the last We Still Like You, and I was upset that I wasn't here. And I had also that night gotten got a last-minute offer to go perform stand-up comedy, which is the thing that I love and want to do forever, in a college, in a packed college, and I was going to get paid to do it, which is a dream. But I couldn't get out of work, and I had to work this wedding, and these people doing this wedding were the worst people. They were so bad. We had to shut their bar down early because the men were ripping off their shirts and throwing them, and it was bad. It was really bad. So I hated these people. I hated the situation. I was very cranky, and when I get cranky, I just get mean. So while the bride and the groom were cutting their cake, what a picturesque moment, you know? While they're cutting the cake, I stood intentionally behind them. So even if the professional photographers could Photoshop me out, their friends couldn't. And then later on that night, after we finished the wedding 2 hours early because everybody there was a shithead, the worst of all shitheads was the maid of honor. God, what a cunt, guys. She's the worst person. To get my attention when I was serving, she'd snap at me and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to do something mean to you. And this is really bad. I did a really bad thing. It was her duty to keep track of the cake top, which is the very top of the cake, which apparently there's some tradition, but I'm pretty sure it's like a Pinterest tradition, where you save the top of the cake for a year, and then for good luck for the rest of your marriage on your first anniversary, you eat part of the cake. I made sure that so mean. I feel like such a bad person. Thank you. I tore the bottom of the brown paper bag that she was carrying, but I only slightly unglued it so that it didn't look like it had been done on purpose. So she picks it up and it holds fine, and I was like, oh, there goes my prank. I thought of this as a prank. No, ruining someone's lives. No, but I was like, man, there goes my prank. And as she's walking, she gets almost to her car, and then it falls and smashes everywhere. And she's crying, and I just stood above her, and I just went, that's a bummer, huh? Thank God.
We have no shame.
All right, so we got one more story for you guys. We wanted to really jam-pack this first episode of the second season, show you guys that our love is real. This next one, it's not our traditional format of being super silly and super jokey, but this story is more serious, but it's a great story, and it comes from Lincoln Lodge cast member and friend of the show, Kristen Clifford.
I'm confident in saying she's one of the best performers in the city. I'm so stoked to bring up your next comedian, Kristen Clifford.
Oh, thank you. Your confidence reflects my confidence. Awesome. So, you guys, this might surprise some of you. I wasn't super cool growing up. Shocking. I know, it's crazy. I had the most accelerated reader points in my whole school. I was the smartest kid in class always, but I did have a best friend. And I met her when we were in second grade. And, we just became instant best friends. We were best friends for years. We got best friend necklaces, which is a half of a broken heart, which is a weird symbol for best friendship, I've always thought. But we went to the mall and we got them together with her mom. She was a really, really funny person. She thought the lyrics to Gloria in Excelsis Deo were Gloria Feed That Funky Girl, which isn't a thing. She used to run with her arms just directly at her sides, just like super fast, and like that was how she ran. And we used to make prank phone calls all the time, and we would call someone and say that they had ordered a bunch of Chinese food, tell them the total, and over their protestations that they had not ordered it, just like hang up the phone. And then call them back a half an hour later and inform them that the Chinese restaurant had burned down. While she screamed in the background and banged pots and pans in a Chinese accent, "Fire, fire," which was very racist but also hilarious. And that was how we spent our time together. But you know, like when you're in 7th and 8th grade, it's very important how you're perceived. So this is maybe the shittiest thing I've probably ever done, was that I became friends with a bunch of girls who were moderately cooler than she was, who didn't like her. So we stopped hanging out with her and alienated her to the point where her parents came to my house and talked to my parents about it, and like just talked about how sad she was and how she felt left out, and you know, where had the friendship gone, and just kind of brutally ignored her to that point where you have no friends when you're 13, which is like your friends are kind of the most important thing that you have. So, you know, subsequently, like after that, I kind of got it back where my friends abandoned me as well. But over the years, I was always like, oh, God, I've got to... We kind of reconnected in high school where we were like casual friends, but never the same. And I was always like, I need to apologize, you know. I went to a Catholic school, and we had this retreat called Kairos, where you are on God's time or whatever. It's really good. But you write letters to all your friends, and I was like, I should write her a letter and apologize, and I didn't. And then, you know, we were in college, and I was like, I should write her a letter and apologize. I need to apologize. All the time, it was really something I thought about a lot, that I wanted to reconnect with her. And unfortunately, I got a call when I was 21 that she had died in a car accident on Lakeshore Drive. And so that really, really profoundly affected me a lot, because she was someone who was really important to me that I had never kind of made the amends with. And I think about her every day, and actually, like, the last part of my story is an essay that I wrote about her and about our friendship that I was going to share the excerpt from. If that's okay, I'm going to read from my phone. Her loss did not affect me as profoundly as it did others. Her boyfriend, her college friends, her family. If we're comparing, all their grief makes mine seem minor by comparison. Grief, like many things in life, is very self-centered. We think about how the loss impacts us, about our pain, about our sadness, about what we will miss. She is gone. She was wonderful. I don't want sympathy. I don't feel I deserve sympathy. But I do feel like this loss changed me profoundly. It has changed the way I approach relationships and how I view my role in them. There are things I have to say, things I need to say, and things I need to tell people, perhaps to the point of their discomfort. I love you, my friends. I love you, I love you, I love you. This experience has left me with a gnawing fear that something will happen. I always feel like I am running out of time. I am not dying. I am constantly anxious about ensuring my relationships are intact. We are all dying. I would like for us to meet one another at the airport and exchange the tenderest of hugs. I would like for us to sit back to back and read in a sun-dappled park, sweating a little but experiencing no spinal discomfort because we love each other. And we can lean on each other in the most literal of ways. I want us to always be at ease with each other. I want us to always feel connected. I want us to be able to text each other the dumbest things and immediately be understood. I make you a dessert because I'm worried about you. I leave little presents in your shoes because you are my favorite. I say hello on GChat because I need you to know I like you. I apologize because I love you. I apologize because once I didn't. I left it too late, and now I never can. And while I am not dying, we are all dying. While I am here, I want you to know you are loved. While I am here, I want to be loved. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I love you, I love you, I love you.
So that was Kristen Clifford, and you can catch her all over Chicago. I'm super happy to be in this group.
Yeah, it's going to be the best. We're super excited to have all sorts of new friends and pals all over the place. And I think it's going to be a really fun season.
I feel like I'm genuinely friends with all you guys.
What's the weirdest place you've puked?
I've puked a number of times getting off of a CTA train.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I've never puked on public transit. I came close once.
Projectile vomited into a trash can.
We Still Like You is produced by Danii Gallegos, Dan Sheehan, Tyler Snodgrass, and J. Michael Osborne, who is also our resident live artist.
The podcast is produced by Jesse Patend, engineered by Jesse Patend and Sam Haas. Our theme song is Specific People by Jake Tobin. Big thanks to all the people who've housed our live shows at various undisclosed locations around Chicago, and to you, the listener, for being there.
If you'd like to know more about where you can watch We Still Like You or submit to be on We Still Like You, please check out our website, which is westilllikeyou.com, and also you can find us on Facebook.
We'll see you next month.
Next time on We Still Like You.
So I decided, not on my watch. I've been reading Batman comics. I'm gonna be a crime fighter. So I wrote a real nasty note. Real nasty, I saw what you did note. And I signed it, The Watcher.
I threw up in a candy store once.
That's pretty bad.
Not from eating too much candy, because I had sun poisoning. I had been poisoned by the sun.
I threw up at my manager's house when I first worked in a restaurant.
In college, I threw up in a bed.
Oh, I threw up in
my own bed, yeah.
Threw up on shag carpeting.
Oh, you're not getting that out.